My name is Mike, and I am a healer by the grace of God. How it works with people, I don't know. I pretty much let God take over, and I say, "Okay, boss, do what you do." And I think it's better that way. It leaves all the responsibility to the old man or old woman upstairs, which is, I believe, inside. And many people will tell me that something has changed in their life, and that's all that matters to me, really. And let's see what else. I work with light. Light is my gift, my goal, and my tool, and which was directed to me from many, many years ago. I've been doing this for about maybe 45 years. I've been always telling everyone up until recently that it was 37 years, and then someone reminded me it's been longer than that. And so now I'm starting to say 45 years. And in another 10 years, I'll make it 46 or 47. So in any case, I've worked with and taught, I don't know, maybe 25 to 35,000 people over the many years. And this is all that I do. And I have a healing circle here in Boulder, Colorado, once a month, and it's starting to get into the larger numbers. And I travel a lot. I'm going to Phoenix next. Tomorrow, matter of fact, I'm going. I'll be there for 5 days to work with people and to give whatever I can. And I'll also be doing a workshop on intuition, the way that I learned it many, many years ago, and try to help people see within themselves that we dwell within one mind in godliness, in the divinity within. Hi, Kirk. Welcome. And let's see. Then I'm going to, the following week, I'm going to North Carolina in about a week and a half. And then I'm going to Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, I think it's called, near someplace in Washington. It's right next to Washington State. Other than that, that's all that I do is I travel and I see people here by appointments as well. And I also have telephone appointments. We're also starting in a couple weeks, we're starting a meditation class. The class is just incredible. I'll be helping people also recognize that we dwell within the mind of God and that we can come up with similar answers from inside. My form of meditation, the way that I was taught over 45 years ago, was to ask a question and get an answer, or to have a statement and get an elaboration on that statement. And there were 20 of us in this one room, and I never heard of meditation. Well, I didn't know what meditation was. I had heard everyone talking about it, but I really didn't know the understanding of it. And so one day, everyone in this particular house was called up into the chapel area, and we were told by the priest that he's going to ask a question. He wants everyone to come up with the same answer. And I'm thinking, how is this possible in a meditation? I thought meditation was relaxation or sleeping or taking it easy. I had no concept of what meditation really was. And so it was, there was another part of the story I'm not going to, elaborate on right now because of time. But it was 45 minutes later, the priest turned on the light and everyone had their answers of what they got, supposedly. And I had mine, and I was number 5 being called on out of the 20 people, and I had the same answer that 3 others had out of the 5 before me, and maybe about 9 or 10 people after me had. Everyone had the same answer except for a few people that were just not getting anything. So I'm going to teach people my form that I was taught, where people can see that they dwell within the mind of the godliness as well. And you will experience in your life a joy, a peace, a comfort in your life that you'll carry within you. And the meditation class is going to be once a week, except for once every once in a while. We won't be having it because Lynn's going to be off or I'll be off or something like that, but we will have it almost every week. And we are charging $7 per hour class. And initially I'll explain my understanding of meditation. Then I'll answer questions real briefly. And then for 10 or 15 minutes, we'll actually do a meditation together. And then afterwards, people, if they choose, will volunteer to express what they've gotten in their meditation, what they wrote down. And many of the answers, if not all of them, will develop into being the same answer, but through different experiences of people. So, and then you'll experience in your life an understanding of that you too can participate in this in your life at any time, but it'll be ongoing every week to help build you into that understanding, and that you'll have your proofs through the answers that you give and how relatable they are to other people's answers as well, how similar they are. So, and I'll be reading during the meditation either a verse, or I'll be giving an exercise for you to meditate on, and we'll just take it from there and see what happens. So hopefully it'll change lives. But in the meantime, this is a healing circle, and I'll be giving you everything I can. First, what I do is give this little spiel, what's happening, and then I'll ask if there's any questions or comments or anything we can talk about before I start working with people. And so please, anything that I can answer or elaborate on that someone might have some information on that they'd like to share, what's happened with them since we've worked together, or anything, please. Can you put on the mics there? And thanks.
Mark, I do have a question about your meditation class, because I do some other classes on Wednesdays, so I can't make every Wednesday. Can you just join in when you're available?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and people can. It'll be a perpetual credit card, or you can do it individually when you want to.
Okay.
And you can unsign yourself anytime you want. Take yourself out of it, and you won't be charged or anything. It's not a scam in any way. It's just something that when you do participate, it'll be available.
Okay. Thank you.
Some people like to. They've expressed that they like to just have it ongoing to $7 a week, and that's fine. And I'm game for anything. I don't mind. So, good question. Yeah. All right. Any other questions or comments, please? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Mark, is there a chance that you'll be doing it in the future at a different date or time? Because I can't do Wednesdays.
Yeah, matter of fact, Sue, Lynn and I were just talking about that, and it won't be every week, but it'll be most weeks when I get more of my schedule together of when I'm in town, and we will be offering it in the evening hours as well, and we'll send out dates that will be available for people.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The evening hours is one chunk of people, and Wednesdays is great for other, people.
Sure.
It's awesome. It's really awesome.
To do it. Yeah, I'd love to do it.
Yeah. And let's see. Any other comments or questions, please, before we start? Anything I can try to answer? Anyone got a question they can try to fool me with? Yeah,
this is my first time in the healing circle. You're coming to Wilmington a week and a half from now. So I wanted to but I've been watching this healing circle for a couple months, and so I kind of know the faces here. I had a question about when you talk about healing and you talk about never commiserate with someone.
Yes.
What does that mean in language? You know, I mean, we always think about compassion and that kind of thing, but what does commiserate mean in terms of what you say or you don't say, or, you know, you don't, you know, let the person, well, I just want to hear what you say on that.
Good question, Stephanie. The first example that comes to mind is when a couple, say at a healing circle, they'll be, I'll be working with someone, then all of a sudden, the person that I'm working with goes through an emotional catharsis.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately, someone at the circle is going to want to run up to them and just hug them, saying, "It's okay, it's okay." The worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They need to go through what they need to go through. Then a change, a transformation happens. Something alchemically within them transforms. And otherwise, they're not allowed to do it. They're just being thrown back into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, or like rescue them with a tissue or...
Yeah, and that's okay. And oftentimes what I'll do at the healing circles when someone's standing, I'll have a box of tissue nearby,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just hand them, but I won't have the emotional concept with it, or you know, the attachment, you know, emotionally with it.
Okay.
I want to make sure. Yeah, my phone's off. Oh, good. We got someone else coming in too, and whoever this might be. As long as we're not feeding or commiserating as far as you know, keeping them where they were at,
Mm-hmm.
because something's transformed,
Right.
and I want to make sure that has happened. Very important for them. Tracy should be coming in a minute. So, did you see that, Lynn? Do you get the messages too? Cool.
I don't get the messages, but I have the Eventbrite window up.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. And so, good question. Good question. Yeah. I just don't want to. That's why it's so important to be what I refer to as impersonal, not cold, but impersonal, where you're not going to keep a person stuck where they were or bring them back to the moment of what it was like before. I want to keep the transformation going, and there can't be a transformation if we're going to, let's say, everything is okay. Hi, Tracy. Welcome. Can you hear us, Trace? Tracy? Tracy, turn on.
Oh, that's
There. Can you hear us, Tracy?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. And, all right. So, yeah, good question. I love it. And are you going to be an appointment or going to the workshop in North Carolina as well?
I'm sorry?
Stephanie, are you going to be going to the workshop and
Yeah.
an appointment?
Yeah, you'll see me.
All right, good. Excellent. All right. Any other comments or questions, please, before we start here? I'd love to.
That's right. You're going anyway. That's right.
What's that? Yeah. All right. So, all right. Is there anyone? I'll tell you what. Patricia. Hi.
I muted myself. Okay. Hello?
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So, what's the situation with your mother?
Okay. She has it's a couple of issues, but it's her eyes, her vision, the clarity of her mind, and her vitality, her walking.
Okay.
She She bled internally, and then that was healed. Before she was standing up and falling down. Now I don't know. She's not standing up and walking, but she can walk. There's nothing wrong with her body at all.
Okay. Is your mother, what's her first name?
Elizabeth, she's right here.
All right. Yeah, I see. All right. Now, Elizabeth, do you hurt anywhere in your body?
What?
Do you hurt anywhere in your body?
No.
Oh, good. All righty. What I'd like to do is, and please do understand, and when I say something, I'm saying it for the person if, information does come to me.
What are you saying?
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So, I won't be, a prophet or someone that makes a lot of statements or anything like that. My forte is more working with people and helping them to feel better.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll see something, and if it's my place to say something, I'll say something if I should.
Yes.
All right. And the important thing is to know this is by God.
Yes. I know. Yeah.
Okay. And we're all used to varying degrees. Everyone is special. Everyone is unique. Everyone is a gift. There are no gifts. We're the gift. And so please understand that. All right. Elizabeth, what I'd like to do, if you can close your eyes, please.
Okay.
Close your eyes, please.
And let her know that I'm going to put my hands on top of her head.
Okay. He's going to put his hands on top of your head.
It's okay. And let her tell you if she should sense something happening in her body by the grace of God.
Tell me if you feel something in your body.
What?
Tell me if you feel anything in your body.
I feel
Take
it
a
in
moment.
my body.
Yes, if you feel anything.
No. Ah.
Ask her if her body is starting to get a little warm.
Is your body starting to get a little warm?
I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. It doesn't matter.
I want to get over here.
Okay. I can feel cool air coming on.
Okay.
I want to get over here.
It's okay. Almost done.
Mm. I gotta get out of the chair. I gotta
Okay,
get
okay,
up.
okay.
We're done.
Okay, all right.
All right. All right. That's fine, Patricia.
Okay. I'm gonna mute her. You
All
can
right.
go to someone else. I will mute her.
All right. And they can still hear me if they're muted, correct? Okay, good. Excellent. And sometimes what happens, or it may be often, or I don't know, when I work with someone, most often they'll experience something happening right away, a change. When someone says they're healed, that's nice, but it's never the end of the story. There's always more that's coming forth. There's always more that's changing from within and around. And so it's not the end of the story ever. And sometimes what happens is people will be what they refer to as healed, and they go on with their lives, no more with the distresses or the aches or the pains or the chronic situations or the emotional dilemmas that are happening. But sometimes, maybe for, I don't know, just a guesstimate, 25% of the time, as soon as they walk out the door, they'll notice something happen. Or walking down the street 2 weeks or 2 months later, they'll say, oh my God, when did this leave me?
Right.
And so I leave room for that.
Yeah.
And because I don't know how God works. I just allow it to move forth from me, as we all have the ability to do that. I do it a little bit better than most people because I practice it more, and I trust the old man or old woman upstairs. And I say, okay, boss, you take over, you do it. So I know that something's happened always. To what degree or how or what it affects, I don't know. I say, I trust
Something happened. Something definitely happened, because when you were doing that, I felt the air coming off her body, and you weren't working on me at all. So I
Right.
just want to let you know, I can feel something bouncing
all.
off of her. Right.
That's awesome. What state do you live in?
I'm in New York City.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Welcome. First person from New York.
Yes.
Welcome.
From Marie.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions or comments about that, please? All right. Not Elizabeth, Patricia, let me work with you too. Is there anything in your body that's bugging you or bothering you in any way? Name anything. Can you think of something?
You know, not you know what? I think I've been gaining weight, but it's not from eating. It's from stress. So I'm taking care of a lot of things, and the doctor said it's cortisol. Stress is hitting me in my body and causing my body to swell. But that's about it. Other than that, I'm okay.
Okay. And your neck is fine?
Yes.
Okay. Do you get headaches?
Sometimes in the morning.
Okay. All righty. What I'd like to do is I'm going to put my hands on your head,
Okay.
and you tell me what happens, please.
Okay.
Then I gotta get out of the chair.
Right there.
Oh, okay. I feel cool air, and I felt the pressure move from the front of my forehead all the way to my crown.
Yes.
And out, and then it just stopped. I didn't have a headache, but I felt the energy.
Yes. Now, you may or may not remember this, but in your 20s, you fell sideways. You hit your head. Can you remember that?
Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right.
that log jammed your rhythm, and therefore it created that dynamic within you that never really got released, in my perception. Now there's life force flowing through where it was log jammed.
Okay. Yes. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
All right. All right, good. Excellent. Yeah. And I'd love to hear from you in the future.
You will.
All right.
My
Great.
good friend is Marie, and I will be working with you.
She's awesome.
Oh my gosh. So are you. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll
She's
mute
right
us
below
out.
you. She's right below you.
She was. She's out of the screen.
Oh no.
When Tracy came in, she dropped out.
Swipe over and you'll be able to see everyone.
Okay, I will. Okay, let me mute out so you can go to the next.
All right, huh? All right. Ruth, please. Anything in particular? How's work with your foot?
Yeah, that would be a good start. It's the right foot. And I've also got, apparently I strained the IT band on the left thigh.
Oh no.
Working on that. And I'm feeling a bit sad because I am dealing with my aunt. She's my last elderly relative, and she's in hospice care now in New Jersey. So I'm traveling back and forth to New Jersey pretty regularly. So.
All right. Well, let me work with your IT band on your right leg, you said?
Left.
Left? Okay. So I'm dyslexic, so I have to figure out in my head.
The other side. I'll tell you.
It's really rough for me. My right, your left. Okay. Also, what I got was there was a perception of a little dysfunction in your kneecap.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you can relate to that.
Yeah, that's a knee that's in pretty good shape.
Okay. All righty. And so.
But you fixed it.
Yeah. And oftentimes there'll be perceptions of things that might not have happened yet. And that became aware of me to me many years ago, where a story that I tell everyone is that there were many years ago there were 5 people that were in front of me, and I had to and I didn't know them, and they didn't know me. And I had to say everything that I found in everyone, and I found 20 things on all these people. And the last person was this fellow, and I got to his shoulder, and I found the 21st thing, and it was massive. And I explained to him, hey, look, this is many years ago. And I explained to him, there was this massive injury you had. And he said, no, nothing's happened. And so I worked with him until it was complete within me, in my understanding. And then it was that night he got my number from someone, and he called me up. He was in ER, that he had an accident in his shoulder. Not saying that you're having an accident or anything like that. It might be an ache or something like that. But the doctor told him that he doesn't understand how it's not more massive than what he's experiencing. And I think, in my understanding, it's because I worked with him, then that made it much, easier for him. So, in any case, so it was like a little dysfunction, and that was my perception. When I worked with the leg, the thigh area, and I worked down, and that's where I came up with that. As I was working down. I don't know if you can tell if there's a difference yet in your thigh area.
Well, I did feel you working on it, and I also felt energy on the right side too,
Okay.
on my foot. So thank you for both.
Another thing I want to mention, please, if you should find it in your heart, whether you had an experience or not, but hopefully you're going to have a wonderful experience from all this. Please, on the website, do make a donation. I always want to mention that to people. It helps us to keep going. So, other than that, let's see. Any questions or comments, please?
I have a question for you, Mark.
Please, MJ.
Probably should have asked it earlier.
No.
When you are working energetically with someone, is it appropriate and okay for the rest of us who choose to mentally send healing prayers and energy thoughts or loving thoughts to that person you're working on, or send it to you in love and light, or just sit back and don't do anything?
It's up to the person. It doesn't matter if they do or not, but it's nice for people to love someone else. And there's nothing incorrect about that.
Okay, thank you.
It's good for the other person. It's good for you. It's good for everything.
I do Reiki energy work, so I just find it natural just to be sending. And I stop myself thinking, oh my goodness, maybe he doesn't want that involvement.
Yeah. I don't need help.
I know you don't, but it's what comes through me.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, nothing, there's no incorrectness in wanting to help someone to feel better. There's no room for that incorrectness.
Thank you. That just verifies what Spirit tends to tell me, but because it's your session and you're the healer, I appreciate you confirming that.
Oh, it's I love it when people love people. So, and sometimes I find myself in total amazement. I'll be in a crowd and I'll see two people standing off and they're just loving each other, holding hands or smiling at each other. And I just am so mesmerized in that. And I think that's the cast me out, and I'm so happy for them. And, and whatever. And I ask a blessing on them inside myself and I walk away, I'm just blown away by it. When people care about each other that much. Good for you. God bless you. All right. Any other questions or comments before we go on?
Yes, Mark, I have one.
Please, Analea,
yes.
Analea.
When you're working on others, I feel the energy and I have to close my eyes. Is that a normal thing, or because I'm quite sensitive to energy?
Yeah. That's awesome. And you are sensitive to energy. That's 100% correct. And you have a lot of good use with it too. And for some people it is normal. Everyone has a different place where they're coming from in their life. They have different experiences, different understandings, different sensitivities, and different abilities that are more pronounced than other people, but other people have other things, you know, that are more pronounced. Everyone is unique. And it's just learning what to do with it if you want to utilize it. I teach those things as well, if ever there's an opportunity, and how to use something. But sometimes people will come into the room when there's a healing circle or something, and immediately, as soon as they walk in that door, they swear that they are healed of their infirmity or their dysfunction in the body, the aches or pains or whatever. And some people can see things for the first time. They've never been able to see things before. And activities of the spirit. And it's just all kinds of neat stuff. And I just say, okay, you know, let it be. And I enjoy it, you know, when people are evolving and growing in themselves through acts of their own or participating in whatever, you know.
Well, I get to close my eyes, so I'm not going to sleep. It's just that the energy is so strong. I have to close my eyes and then I kind of open them when you're done. Yeah.
I understand. I totally understand.
Thank you.
Sure. But take that energy and know you can be constructive with it. It's not just rampant energy. Utilize it.
Yes.
Utilize it. It's no different than sometimes I'll show off at the healing circles. Someone will come up and say, I don't care if it's an injury or cancer or whatever, I'll actually pull it out of them, and with their eyes closed, they'll know it's coming out of them. Or other people will be able to, that are around will be able to see it, and I'll put it inside me.
Oh my.
And people go ooh and ah and stuff like that, and I know it's only energy. Even if it's destructive, it's still energy and can be transformed into something. So take that energy and know it's the love of God that's coming in, and it's going to do. It
feels
something.
Very positive.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. I know I don't recommend other people doing that, but
no, I don't. I'm not trying to do it. It's just happening.
No, I understand. I understand. But what I'm referring to, though, is say at the healing circle, pulling cancer out and putting it in me. And, I know what to do with it.
Yes. No. I
command over it. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. But use the energy as the love of God, you know, and watch how it affects your life.
Okay.
Most important. Most important.
Thank you, Mark.
Great. MJ, is there anything that is bugging you, young lady?
Well, I would like you to, to work on raising my energy vibration that would flow through my entire endocrine system to improve the balance and perfect functioning through my entire body. Can you tell that I wrote that out and thought about that? It seems like I have a couple areas of my endocrine system, and you have worked on my thyroid before, and there's a couple other, the pancreas, and a couple other little things, not major, but they're out of balance. And I've been working on myself, trying to put them in balance. And obviously that's not been totally effective. Okay. So is there one specific thing that denotes out of balance for you? General, the way I feel, the way my energy levels are. All right, now for 3 weeks, people have been going through, I refer to it as the great sleep. Okay. And it's just a shift that's happening in the world. Okay. And in the consciousness of the mind of mankind, man, woman. And it's affecting everyone to varying degrees. And sensitive people like yourself and
Anelia. Is that correct pronunciation, Anelia? Yeah.
It's Analea.
Analea, I'm so sorry. I'm terrible at names, and my apologies.
Analea.
Yeah. And the energies, they're so intense because they're in what I refer to as chaos.
Okay.
Chaos means change, because that's what comes out of chaos is change. And so many people are experiencing that. Everyone is to varying degrees in different ways. But many people are experiencing it in the tiredness, especially, but it just didn't start through. It was a development into it. It's just like when does the high tide start and when does the low tide start? It's all flowing. It's all continual. And so there's always evolution happening. And that's why there's the chaos, because of the evolution that's happening. There's a change that's happening. And we feel it in our bodies. I even go through it too. But I'm a little more conscious of what's happening. So what I'll do is I'll wonder about it, where I won't. In the wonderment, there's less resistance.
Okay.
And it affects me a little bit less or in a different way, but it still affects me like anyone else, but it'll be a change that happens. And I know that is what it's developing into. It's never the end of the story, ever. So, and after we go through this change, eventually it's going to lead into another change. What I can do, I can ask a blessing on you. And we'll just go ahead and do that, okay, and see what happens. I wanted to give you an explanation, though, of my...
And I very much appreciate that, and I did want to give you the feedback because you'd asked me to tell you when I had the last ultrasound a couple months ago on the thyroid. Of the 4 nodules, 3 have not changed from last September, and 1 just slightly. And I told the endocrinologist, oh, I'm going to just work on that. And she said, Mary, you can't change that. That's like freckles. And I just smiled at her like, she's really what she wants, because I know that working on those has caused them not to grow.
Yes, yes, yes. By God, yes. All right. It's in my perception, I know nothing medically. It's the culmination from your life of the limitations and the stifling that you've experienced in your life, if that makes sense.
That does.
And so I asked a blessing on that. And we'll see what in your life changes now in your perceptions and your like releasement, I want to call it, if there is such a word.
Okay.
And so, is there such a word, Ruth? No. Well, now there is. The releasement.
I'll write that down, releasement.
And the act of being released.
I take that. I accept that.
Yeah. Now you'll go through what is it? Experiential experience. The what is it? I forgot the term I used to use. not experiential. It'll come back later. And so, but there was another word that I had made up about experiential. So
Existential?
no, that's something else. Yeah.
Well, when you were working, first of all, it got really warm. I wanted to tell you that, really warm. And then a sense of calm followed. And then that heat is dissipating now. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. There was a change that happened because the heat that we feel, or the cold, or the tinglies, or the air going through, or whatever, that's that love of God that is hitting the resistance, and it's just like lightning coming through the atmosphere, where lightning originally is cold in its nature until it hits resistance of the atmosphere, then it creates the heats, etc. It's the same thing with that light, that love of God, that the spirit moving through. It creates an activity of what we feel as sensation of various forms. And that's the resistance, and it's breaking it up. It also breaks it up in mind and body and emotion. It breaks it up in just thinking, everything, biologically, neurologically. And the word I was thinking of came to me, Ruth, is experientiated. So in the moment becoming experienced or something, or something, who knows. So, all righty. Let me see here. Sue, please, anything in your body, or name one thing, please.
Well, as those of you who've been in the circle with me know, I had neck surgery, and apparently I have stenosis, which is sort of scary. And I don't know if I have some in my hips as well or what. I feel some drawing, sensation sometimes across the tops of my arms and legs. And so I want to just be I want to get my mind off of negative stuff and onto positive stuff, and feel confident that I don't need to have this condition get worse, if that's possible.
Okay. And let's see if we can, what I refer to as, sometimes what happens is the situation in people, say if they have a disease process happening in their bodies, or an injury that's developed into something more, sometimes people tell me that even after many years, that it's been arrested. It no longer has the ability to develop, where the people will still have a totally functioning and enjoyable and loving life. And nothing bothers them anymore, even though if they were to go for tests, they would still find that they had this devastating disease that is no longer affecting them in their life, which is quite amazing.
That would be okay with me.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, and I pray that it will dissipate, where it won't be existent in you anymore. But I don't know what your soul dictates in that sense. So we'll see what happens. And I'm okay. And have you had your thyroid checked?
Not lately.
Okay. Have you had dysfunction in it in the past?
Low, just low, but not enough to worry about.
Okay, good, good. And have you had discomforts a little more pronounced in your lower spine?
A little bit more lately, yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel warm and I feel like there's been some release in my legs.
Good, good. Those little more log jam in the lower spinal hip area, and that kind of, in my perception, got broken up. And also in your neck, and I saw the blessing move through you. So
Thank you.
awesome, awesome, awesome. All righty. And did I work with you, Patricia?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. How you feel?
I feel great. I feel great. I really do.
All right, hon.
It's still working.
Good. It's going to, and it'll be for the rest of your life.
Good.
And, you know, to varying degrees, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So also remind people in the future that I do have appointments in person and on the phone if anyone's ever interested, and they're always, you know, effective. To what degree, who knows, for both of them. And the only thing that I'm really concerned about is that if a person, I don't care about someone telling me, as I mentioned before, that you're healed. I care that the person's life changes.
Yes.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
I'm going to be making an appointment.
All right. Marie, please talk to me, young lady. Unmute yourself there. Unmute. There you are.
Oh, am I unmuted now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful to be here and looking forward to seeing you
I
Thursday and
know.
Friday, and probably Saturday too.
Yeah.
May I ask for a blessing? I turned in, which I hope is my very last response to this legal situation. I don't know, maybe, I don't know if there could be a prayer like all causes and all effects of this be healed.
I think it's more someone wanting to hold on. And that's it's like a delay of some reason, whatever it is. And so I'm going to ask, if you don't mind, a blessing for that,
Okay.
where it'll be let go, where there won't be any more, something like question.
Okay.
If that makes sense, I don't know.
Sure. And maybe I'll throw in, and that the judge may see the truth and rule in my favor, because the truth is on my side.
Okay, there we go. There we. All right, all right, hon. It's almost like it was coming from the top, and it was still holding on for question to see if there was any more. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But there was no more. It's just a decision that needs to be made. It's really that simple in my perception.
I agree. I agree.
Whatever it is. All right. So we asked a blessing for that, and so.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. Tracy, please, young lady.
Hold on, let me step out. I'm in a classroom right now, so I'm just gonna step outside. Okay, I'll pull up a chair. So I'm here from Marie, of course.
Oh, wonderful. Cool.
Marie's probably your biggest, let's see if I can put my phone here. That's a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, she told me about you just today. So I wanted to hop on and yeah, just I need so much healing. I don't know where to begin.
Tell me the worst thing.
The worst thing I think that probably affects everything else is depression. I think I suffer from depression. And
Where
I
do
think
you
that
live? Where do you live?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can do mental and emotional healing, but yeah, I'm always out of energy. I tend to burn my candle at both ends. My schedule is seriously overpacked. So I think I suffer from like a lot of overwhelm from my schedule, which doesn't allow for any hiccups, like a sick dog or an ailing parent, or, you know, things like, oh, we have to go to a barbecue this weekend. I'm like, yeah, I'm booked. I have to work. So I'm always suffering from like overwhelm and fatigue and tiredness. And I think, you know, if I had a better state of mind, just as a general rule, I'd be able to handle these things a lot better.
Yeah, I can't change your mind. I won't go into that world, or making people think one way or do something else to change their life around, or something like that. It's people that have to do that, you know, finding a way to do that. But I don't interject in people's lives and make them do things. And That's taboo on my part. And but because I'm not a controller, I don't want
Right.
to, except for myself. And but I don't know if you necessarily want to like spill the beans publicly as far as what's how you feel inside and stuff like that. So I'd rather have a phone session
Mhm.
personally. It's just like in Healing Circle. I tell people I'll work on the body, but I publicly, but I won't work on the emotion to let everyone else know things.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, physically, last year I had a broken femur in the femoral neck, and it'll be like a year since the actual break in a couple of weeks, and my leg is still weak.
which
And
leg? Left leg?
my right.
I'm dyslexic. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that would be great to have that get up to speed a little bit.
All right. Are you?
Better.
Is it achy in there, or do you sometimes feel like a sharp pain?
No, not it does ache sometimes, and it's where they put in it aches where they put the screws in. The muscles in that area are still really weak, so when I am under stress, or if I'm having a bad day, or if I'm tired, or I've done a lot of walking, I'll start to limp. It's just not regained its strength. So, yeah.
Okay. What I'd like to do, just for a moment, I'm gonna. Can you point where on your femur it is? Can you stand up for a sec?
Yeah, it's up in the hip socket. So let's see. It's like here's where the screws are, right here, and then so the screws go up this way, like in here.
Have a seat. Have a seat, please. Get the phone situated, and you tell me if anything happens in there while I'm working with you, okay? It's going to be real subtle, hon.
Yeah, I can feel it. It is really subtle.
There. There. And there. Now, what I'd like you to do, young lady, is to stand up and move around a little bit and tell me if you notice any difference in there, or if it's the same or worse or whatever.
It feels more solid. And while you were working on it, it felt, I don't know how to describe it. It felt like there was space in there.
Yes.
So I could feel like the area where the screws are, and then it went up and it went deeper, and then I could feel it moving down to where the muscles get really fatigued.
Yes.
But it felt like there was just space. I don't know how else to describe it.
Perfect description. What's actually...
And now...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, and now it just feels more solid and balanced.
Let's see what happens. Now, these healings also, they might last for 5 minutes, or they might last for the rest of your life, or anything in between. But there's, because I call them quickie healings. And so that's just the way it is. But even if it lasts only for 5 minutes, it's never the end of the story. It'll still change, and it'll lead into something else, which is great. Now, what you felt as the space in there, that's what I refer to as breathing. It's like the breath inside, and you might have noticed a movement in there, a breath, an opening.
Yeah, that's good. And I think when you were working on either Patricia or MJ, when you put the hands over the head, I could feel that too. So I was like,
Wonderful.
ooh, I can feel that. So I'm pretty sensitive to energy.
Excellent. All right, we just got.
So thank you. Thank you
my
very
honor.
much.
My honor. My honor. Stephanie, young lady, anything in particular that's bugging you? Yeah. Where's Stephanie? I lost Stephanie. Oh no. Do you see Stephanie? No, she was here. She was waiting. So
Stephanie's still there.
I'm sorry?
She's still there.
You see her?
She has to unmute.
There. Okay. Are we back?
Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now? So,
Yes.
I have had some physical things, but that's not bothering me right now. The big thing I think is neurological. A few months ago, it was insomnia. It was after an operation, and the insomnia was really bad. I was just not being able to sleep and going crazy in the daytime. I traced that, and I think I got to the causal event on that and got some help. And so that cleared up. And then a couple weeks ago, I got vertigo. The positional vertigo just for a few hours, and then for about 2 weeks, this kind of headache that happened, this kind of very weird feeling headache, not so much that I couldn't walk around, and then fatigue. And I started working on, really working on finding the causal events for these kinds of things, and working with your idea about the self-doubt for me. When you talked about your thing about the cursing, when you were cursing and when you first went into your order.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay. So I said, well, what do I do all the time? I'm always doubting myself. So for about 4 days last week, I just noted when I was doubting myself and not trusting myself. And I was just doing really great. It was just like disappearing. And then yesterday, this medical bill came, and I just got really upset. It was only like $1,000, but I wasn't expecting it. And so I got the headache, and I got in the solar plexus. And I went to a healing circle last night, which helped, because it's really hard for me to ask for help, but that's what I've been having to do for the last 6 months. Wow. But then today it was like the headache is kind of back there, and I'm paying attention to it and welcoming it, and trying to see what is it saying to me in terms of balance.
Take off your glasses.
Okay.
Just for a moment there. And close your eyes and keep me updated, hon.
Okay. Yeah, I can feel a big shower, like a cascading water coming down through my head, and it feels good. It's not imbalanced.
And keep me updated.
Wow. It's like this big waterfall just coming down and releasing everything in my neck.
See, and that's the way you naturally are.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes what happens is over the years, tiny calcium particles build up. I know nothing medically, honest to God.
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes calcium particles build up in near the vertebrae,
Mm-hmm.
and that just associates with the dilemmas we're having and creates stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to, I think, turn your neck around and just do those kinds of things a couple times a day.
Yeah, I did yoga yesterday, and I think that it kind of loosened it up, but then
That's
it needs
what's going to happen. Yes.
And I forgot to drink a lot of water last night, and I remembered that today, and I'm going, oh.
Yeah, water is like the radiator of a car. You got to have water to it.
Right.
Keep your body going. And so, awesome.
Yeah. Wow, it feels very balanced. Thank you.
Good, good. Penny.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. How are you? Are you there, Penny? Unmute yourself.
What?
Can you hear me, Penny?
Yes, I can hear you.
How are you?
Get my picture up there.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
or
good to
almost, not your picture, but your name.
Well, I'll get Joe's gone, or he'd know how to do it. So I'll get Joe to help me do it next go around.
That's fine. That's fine. So talk to me, hon. Tell me anything in your body that's really bugging you. One thing.
Well, mainly I want to report that I'm like 95% clear of the cracks in my right pelvis.
Yes.
I'm doing so. Just yesterday, it just all of a sudden life was wonderful again in every way.
You're awesome.
And so I still have a little bit to go. And so that's what I would want you to heal or work on. But I'm so absolutely thrilled that I've come so far, and thank you for all the work you've done on me to help me get there.
My honor. My honor. All right.
Okay.
Okay. How do you feel, Penny?
I feel great. I don't have any particular other sensation in my right hip, but I just felt all this light coming to me. So I'm sort of in a euphoric state. Thanks.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in Phoenix.
Yes, can't wait to see you.
All right. Is Penny the same as Penny Umbertino?
Yes, I'm Penny Umbertino.
Okay.
Oh, is my text the same?
No, there's another Penny online, and I didn't know if it was also.
All
right.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. And all right. And can so I'm showing this other Penny. I unmuted the other Penny. Can is there another Penny, or is it the same Penny? Okay. We'll just leave it. And is there anyone else, apprentice, did you want to have me work with anything? Okay, we're fine. We're fine. So I really want to thank everyone. And please, again, if you find it in your heart, on the
Mark, there's
website.
one more
Who?
on the way.
Do you
I'm
have
sorry?
time, Mark?
Yeah, her.
Who is it?
Analea.
Do you have time?
Oh, yeah, I thought that I had gotten you already.
Well,
I'm
I
so
just had, I wanted, you asked for comments. I wanted to make a comment, but I do want to tell you since last month,
Yes.
when I told you I had intense pain under the rib area and the liver and the kidney area, I couldn't even drive. It was terrible. I'm not feeling that, and I'm not having the pressure to go to the urinary all the time. But what's happening now, it's like that groin area that I mentioned last week, that seems to be the issue. The groin coming up right next to my appendix scar on this right side, and it's giving me a lot of grief. It's so uncomfortable, and it's like if I don't have a bowel movement or whatever, I feel pressure.
Put the pressure on there.
Yeah, and it's in the last 3 days it seems to have worsened. So one thing is cleared, and now it seems to have magnified in that area.
All right, so tell me something. Have you gone to a doctor about that?
I have had.
And do they have, all right, but did they give you any
ultrasound
analysis? I'm sorry, you talk first.
Oh no, they gave me ultrasounds, they gave me blood tests, they gave me, the urologist did exam.
But what did they say?
They're finding nothing.
Okay, good. All right, so.
And no cancer, they're testing for cancer, no cancer.
All right, that's fine. So what I want you to do is not help me, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to put my hands onto the front and also on your back in the lower area of the buttocks area. All right, my perception.
Yeah.
Remember, I know nothing medically, honest to God.
Okay.
The only thing I know medically is I had an ex-wife. I have an ex-wife who was a neurologist, and everything I learned about medical terminology or understanding was from listening to her on the phone giving consults for several years. So I know nothing, and so my perception is that there was the muscles in there are irritated, which also affect the nerves, and it was from a just inconsequential strain that happened a long time ago, and and that makes the muscles irritated, and so what I did is I worked with that to help it to breathe inside, that breath of God, the dance of life, whatever you want to call it. And it needs almost like a therapy of some sort. That also, the irritation is inflammation.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, well, I've gone through 9 months of hell, so my whole body was in chaos. So
I bet. You can throw out everything, I know.
One step at a time, one step at a time.
One step at a time. But that's also affecting the inside going out.
Yes.
If you can relate to that.
Yes.
and it's uncomfortable. What kind of therapy or
I don't know. I was just going to ask you, what kind of therapy is it?
movement therapy or something? And that might even irritate it too. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
So what we did, let's work with it this way.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I felt it. I felt like this, like pressure in there, pushing out or pushing out. I felt like a pressure in that area when you were working on it, and it kind of went out and then it came in. So I did feel some movement in there when you were working on it.
Okay. Let's see what happens now.
All right. Thank you. Much
My
appreciated.
honor. My total honor.
Bless you. Thank you.
Going back to what I was mentioning a little bit earlier, please feel free if you want to go to the website and gift. You don't have to by any means. It helps us to keep going. And let's see, go to the classes, go to the online things, go to the meditation online. Everything's on the website. Sign up for the newsletter and on the right side. And I hope I get to see everyone. And I'll see you next time, hopefully, as well. But in person, I hope I get to see everyone. It's such a blessing to have worked with you, and I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a blessing to have you work with us. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have a date for the next one?
Do we have a date for the next one there, Lynn? July. It's the 9th. July 9th.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
And the newsletter is on the sign up for the newsletter on the right side of the website, and take it from there. God bless everyone.
God bless you, Mark. Good night.
Bless you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks
Marie,
so
for
much.
telling me.
Good night.
Good night.